Going live. Fixing up my screen. And everything in between. Hello, Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with Astrology Mojo and Transformational Astrology. I want to help you get your mojo back. And so we do that through astrology, yes, aspects and angles, because if you don't know me, what I say to people is that the planets don't make you do anything in this beautiful nebula helix, that we live in a cooperation with the cosmos so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. And when you make a move, the planets reflect that by way of aspects and angles in astrology. Okay, so you're not a puppet. And also, we're working on personal empowerment, transformation through intuition, through everything that you are. When the body, mind, spirit comes together, there's no stopping it. Ain't no stopping us now. A little sip of the galaxy goes a long way. I feel so refreshed. Come say hello to me. So I have to type in the box now in the comment section, or I don't know who's there. I don't see anything, so I'm just going to say, come say hey to me. When's your birthday? There we go. Hey, Elizabeth is here. So there's going to be, it already is in play, the Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio. Good morning, Kathleen. And everybody has Scorpio in their chart. You may not have planetary placements of Scorpio in your chart, but hey, Michelle's here too. Good afternoon. Good morning, good evening, and good night, says The Truman Show. So what are we looking at, especially now that we are in the pre-phase, and this is the week that Mercury goes retrograde. Now, in Scorpio. Now, Scorpio, just another manic Monday. Oh. Yeah, but Sunday was always manic for me because I had to prepare for Monday. Anyway, 10:25. Malika, happy birthday. Everybody wish. Let me see. What are we? That was only 3 days ago. Happy birthday to you. The original sisters who wrote the song Happy Birthday, it wasn't a birthday song. It was Happy Day. Happy morning to you. Something like that. Yeah, pretty wild. Okay, so the Scorpio represents the trust or mistrust that you have or don't have in relationships. Now, that relationship started way back long ago with your family, who you trusted. If we look at the different, they call them decadence in astrology, but the different levels of a transformation, we'll call it, with Scorpio energy. And the beginning starts with wanting to be connected in a relationship is what Scorpio gets a bad rap sometimes, I think. It's like the stinger and, the manipulation and the obsession. And that's the more mundane aspect of Scorpio energy. And but the higher aspect really is all about living in a community of trust. And are you able to do that? I don't know. We're going to find out, right? You're going to find out this particular retrograde, because in this retrograde in Scorpio, we're going to be looking at the deeper part of who you are and what you don't trust. So yeah, it's about empowerment. We're talking about going from disempowered to empowered, but you got to swim through some turbulent waters to get there when Mercury's retrograde in Scorpio. For some people, for others, it's a breeze. It's like, you're floating on your back and you got straw in your mouth and you're like, yeah, life's great. But for some people, it's not going to feel great. And I'll tell you, Taurus rising, also, I would say Aquarius rising. Yeah, Leo rising. The fixed signs are going to feel the sharper, more uncomfortable sensations of this particular retrograde. It can be a wonderful experience of self-discovery in what you don't like and what you don't, or who you don't trust. And then what do you do with that? What are you going to do with that? So the first posture is defensive, right? When you look at someone and you go, I don't like who you are, or I don't like who I am when I'm with you. Right? That's bigger. So Michelle has Sun, Moon, and Venus in Scorpio. Okay, so your energy is really going to feel this a lot, and in ways too for everybody. The power that we want. We want to assume, we think it's control. Control and power are two separate things. And I think that needs to be said, because a lot of times people will take it upon themselves, especially if they're Scorpio energy, and they take it upon themselves to say, I got this, I'm going to do that. And then they do it repeatedly. And then they realize, well, if I don't do this thing, it's not going to get done. So I better do it myself. That's control. That's mistrust. That's, thinking back to when you were very young and your first relationships on this earth, you might have been, wide-eyed and wow, and wondered and, oh my gosh, and then somebody is mean to you, or somebody takes something of yours, or without your permission, or somebody breaks something of yours, a trust, a toy, depending on your age. And then you back up and you go, wait a second, I thought I was safe in this world. I'm not safe. So some part of you starts to negotiate how to be safe. And sometimes that winds up being manipulative. Now, when I was younger, in my 20s especially, used to be so afraid of conflict and angry people, or anger, that I would manipulate with sweetness, and use it to my advantage. And that's not wholly honest. It was a way to survive, and that's what Scorpio does. So Scorpio energy survives to the point of thriving and then breaking down at the degeneration before the regeneration of a cell, of a memory, of an experience. So sometimes, a Scorpio energy can be cutting, but other times it's very soothing. It depends on who you are and what your karmic bent is, and who you want to be on this earth, and how you choose to be. I'm looking for my happy cards, and I don't see them in the vicinity. Oh, wait. I found them. Okay. So, when we're looking at, hey, Catherine's here, Gemini extraordinaire. So when we're looking at this particular Mercury in retrograde, I want you to think about the things you don't trust, people you don't trust, and things about yourself that you mistrust. Like you might say, oh, I've been on a diet and I'm really trying to lose this weight, and I don't, somebody invited me out to like a big family dinner. I don't trust myself. I'm gonna go hog wild and eat all the bread or the pasta. So then once you discover what or whom you do not trust, you might say, I don't trust the politicians, and I don't trust. Okay. I'm not talking so much about an external experience. I don't know why my glasses keep falling off my face. Nothing changed, really. What is happening? So what we're really talking about is the parts of you internally that do not trust: the nebula, the brain, the heart, the whole experience of being. This might get touched on in this particular Scorpio. Why? Because we also, even though Mars is hanging out in Libra right now, and Mars is an energy. Remember, the planets aren't doing anything, right? But what you experience is your timing. Astrology tells you what time it is. Time for wealth, health, passion, and purpose. And so when the planet Mars is in the sign of Libra, unless you are a Libra sun, rising, moon, or have Mars in Libra, you're pretty more laid back about how you want to approach things. But we got a lot of Scorpio right now. Moon's in Scorpio, Sun's in Scorpio, Venus and Mercury's in Scorpio. And we have the pairing of Pluto and Saturn, both in Capricorn. So and that's water and earth, and that everybody gets along. Yay. But the undercurrent is, how many people right now feel like something's not right? Something is moving, or something feels, you might be drawn to very extreme circumstances. Even if you're watching a show, you might say, oh, I've been watching Modern Love on Prime and it makes me cry and it's so wonderful. But then you flip over to Castle Rock and you're like, I need a jolt of something to shock me to sting me out of this perception of safety, because some part of me doesn't feel safe. Some part of me doesn't feel safe. And so what we do energetically is we bring to us what we are vibrating the highest. And wherever we put our focus, that's what we're going to create a big electrical charge on most of the time. So let me just check in. Say hello to people. Jamie, hello from Melbourne. Good day. And Sin, hey. Sun and Moon in Taurus, Capricorn rising. Oh, me too. Sun and Taurus, Capricorn rising. Come here, you need a hug. So do I. Okay, so this is exciting though, because we want to put a spin on it that's not, a lot of times astrologers or tarot readers or, people in my world will talk about, retrograde. It's like, retrograde is amazing. Find therapeutic things to do in a retrograde, okay? Because retrogrades we're already in, let's see, Neptune and Uranus are both retrograde right now. And just very quickly, Neptune is in Pisces, natural placement, because Neptune guides the sign of Pisces. So if you're a Pisces sun, rising, or moon, this particular Mercury retrograde in Scorpio is actually going to bring up empowerment before disempowerment. So, you suddenly have a voice for yourself and say, yeah, I want to go do something fun, but be careful. Watch that extreme indulgence. And Taurus, you're feeling the pull of opposition. You're feeling I have to do something new, but I don't know if I know enough or am enough, or I'm just feeling annoyed in general, Taurus might say, or people are coming to me and they don't get it. How many times do I have to tell them I don't eat cheese? So why do you keep serving me cheese sandwiches? Whatever. So this particular retrograde is going to impact us differently, of course, because everyone is different. All right, my hair is sticking to this. Hey, cut it out. Quit it. Quidditch. Who wants to play Quidditch? I do. Okay, so is this making sense so far? Catherine has a Scorpio moon. Scorpio moon, people who are born with a Scorpio moon, they already have, they're already tuned in to that subconscious wave of, is this powerful or is this disempowering? And a lot of times there's been an early breach of trust. So there might be some extra anger or rage that a Scorpio moon might have to deal with, but they don't know. They just know by what they attract. Situations that are disempowering, because, when you have a vibe, folks, when you put out a any kind of vibe that's consistent, I am this, I want this, I like this, this is where I'm headed, and then along the way you meet people who are congruent with that vibe, and you say you want to start an online business, and you gather a team, and you've got a designer, and you've got the web host, and you've got the blah, blah, whatever, and the copywriter, and everybody's there. And then you're the talent, you've got the content. And when you mix that team together, as long as you are being upfront and honest and not assuming that just because they're enthusiastic that they know what they're doing. Everybody has a different talent. So when you commune and you start to build that trust, in advertising and marketing, it's called know, like, and trust, KNOW. Once you get to know, like, and trust someone, then people will buy your wares or whatever it is you're selling. And that works too on the personal front. So when you start to build a community of thoughts and feelings, and 50% of them are murmuring in the background, yeah, that's never going to happen. I don't know. She's fooling herself. What the hell is she thinking? Right? So you have to come to a place of awareness, self-awareness at some point. And you say, okay, I keep attracting the same kind of boss, lover, friend. Well, your family is your family. You chose your family, believe it or not, to help you bring up those instances or to mirror back your own personality and your own reflecting your own behavior. But when we're looking at building a community, you start when you're in kindergarten and you gravitate toward those that are kind of like you or you like them. Now, a friend of mine has a son in preschool, and he was talking about this one little girl, and he's like, I really like so-and-so. I don't remember, an Ellen or something. I really like Ellen. And the parents were like, oh, okay. Well, what do you like about Ellen? Well, she's very kind and I like to help her. And I was like, oh, well, that's very sweet. And then, 3 weeks, a month later, it's like, Ellen doesn't want to be my friend. And so there comes the conversation. And by the way, this little boy is a Scorpio. So he's learning this right now, that not everyone that you like is going to like you back, no matter how much you give. And sometimes it can be you're in their face too much, you're giving way too much, or you're so elusive that they don't know you and they don't trust you. Or you could be, hang your heart out and just be as honest as you possibly can and trustworthy. And people are going to look at you and go, I'm going to just go over there. I'm just going over there. I don't know if I trust you. And it's hurtful, right? Because you think, well, what have I done? And then you try even harder to prove to yourself or to prove to them that you're trustworthy. So we start to formulate these companionships and communities. And then sometimes we just attract people who fulfill the need of the ego, which is to feel important or validated. And that's okay. It's all in the mix, right? Look at all the stars in the nebula. It's all there. But does it serve you? Does it serve you? And that's the question. I'm going to ask right now for my starseed and my angels and guides to help us bypass all the energies in the karma for this particular Mercury in retrograde, that your beliefs across time, across space, the negative beliefs based on mistrust and fear, that we find a solution and a remedy in this particular retrograde. What are some clues that we can move beyond space and time and perceptions? Remember, Mercury is about perception. So, all right, let me just see what we have here. Who's here? Come say hello to me. We are now talking about the Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio to go from disempowered to empowered, but having to possibly swim through murky or turbulent waters of fear, mistrust, and betrayal. So Catherine says, abuse at an early age. I am so sorry to hear that. And you came to learn how to trust, and that is a Scorpio moon thing. And you're doing great, right? And you can trust now that the benevolence and karmic relationships are not always easy to define. From the outside, people go, why is she with him? Or what are they doing? Or why is that happening? And, it's easy to judge something. But between two people and their particular karmic ties, the Aka threads, that come out of us and attach to others based on needs and wants and desires, and Scorpio is all about desire, they build over time. And so you're born with the same Maka threads, and eventually you attract those people that you've known before to, right the wrongs, but to harmonize, to balance, to iron out the wrinkles. The past comes back in every retrograde, and so you might have a sighting. Who's the sighting? Who came back from your past? In this Scorpio retrograde, it can be a past lover, it could be a past desire. It doesn't have to be a person. It can be, oh my gosh, I love to bake and I haven't had the time, but now the holidays are here. I'm wiping everything aside and I'm just going to focus on my desire, and yay, and I'm so excited. Wonderful things can happen too, but you want to be very mindful of the moment, especially during the upcoming holidays. But right now, during this retrograde in Scorpio, because when Jupiter moves into Capricorn on December 4th, it's in Sagittarius. And so it's like a last hurrah for horizons before you start building, depending on who you are and where it is in your chart, of course. But it's like the last hurrah before the horizons start to take form and you are building on something. So what is it that you don't trust right now? Hey, Leah's here. Hey, Catherine, you're welcome. Hi, Crystal. So what is it that you don't trust? And it can be, again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Scorpio, Mercury in retrograde, and going from disempowered to empowered, but sometimes possibly having to swim through turbulent waters of fear and mistrust. So you might have been betrayed, and a lot of people will attach to the past and go, I've been burned so many times in business and finance and love and friendship and blah, blah, whatever, at the school meetings. I don't even bother. Okay, that's a choice. But you also want to keep in mind that, excuse me, I'm going to move it to the other side. Here, that's better. My hair keeps sticking to the microphone windscreen. And there's no wind in here that I can see. Spiritual wind, maybe. Okay, but that mistrust becomes sedentary, and then you can't grow beyond it until you alter it. So this is a good opportunity that we revisit the past, the things that we don't trust, or the times that we've been betrayed. And it may be that someone who is Scorpio-like, they could be a Scorpio sun, rising moon, Mars and Scorpio person. They could not, it doesn't have to be, but they could come into the picture during this retrograde. And the technical dates are October 31st, Happy Halloween, and Samhain, to November 20th, but we're already in the pre-phase, and then the post-phase for most people will go another 2 weeks, but if you're a Scorpio, it could go another 3. So that's what we're looking at. Crystal, I'm so sorry. Your husband was unfaithful and triggered all your traumas. Yes, you can focus on what you do trust, what your gratitudes are. And while I'm playing with these cards, I'm gathering energy from my starseed and my angels to help several. Let's see what comes. Let me just pull some cards and see what comes. The best possible use of this Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio. Thank you, starseed angels. Whoopsie. Whoa, that one flipped out. Literally flipped out. Attention. Attention, all people. Attention, citizens of the earth. That's a pretty card. Attention. So, attention comes with several things. One, where are you putting your attention? Are you obsessed about something? Are you ready to manipulate to get your needs met? Just become aware. Whatever you put your intention on, with your intention, it grows. So, attention, let's clarify that even more. I hope this is helpful for people. I will be back on Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific and Arizona time, but starting November 4th, most of the world changes clocks. We here in Sedona do not. So I will send out an email and post in Facebook. It won't be that much different, maybe a half an hour different on one side, as to when I will be coming back. I will not be here on Saturday. I have a dear friend coming into town, and we're just going to spend time together. But I'm here Thursday, October, is it Halloween? On Thursday? Yeah, I'll be here on Halloween. Not dressed up. I'll just be here pretending to be a Taurus. A tourist. Just a tourist. Just a tourist on this earth. Christine says, I have Neptune and Scorpio in my natal. So Neptune and Scorpio, that's a good place to find out what you're addicted to, what the illusions are. Illusions that turn to illusions, and how you can empower yourself. Hey! Abundance is the clarity card. So kind of trippy, huh? Ooh-wee. Abundance through attention. So what is it that you think you're missing? What is it that you think you don't have? This particular Mercury in retrograde is going to show you that. And remember, folks, if you are new to me, I have to just reiterate this, especially that we're in already the vibe of that the planets aren't doing things to you. You know, what you create in your mind and your heart and your body, you pulse a frequency. Now, you want to be the frequency of abundance in as many moments as possible. Abundance, right? So then put your attention on your intention. Okay? Elizabeth says, I mistrust my will to maintain discipline to see my internal and external projects through. Okay, so if you mistrust your will, let's reframe that. Let's reframe what that is. What is your will? Is your will your spirit? Is your will your mind? If you don't trust having a discipline, then set up a schedule that creates variety. Seriously, just to keep you focused. Because there's parts of me that I know, it's like, if someone says to me, you have to work out every day for 45 minutes. Oh, no, I don't. That's the first thing that, oh, no, I don't. Oh, no, you didn't. It's like, that's the first thing that wants to come out is, you are not telling me how and when. I will tell you why I oughta. You know what I mean? So it's like we have such resistance to anything, and then nobody could tell me to work out. And then I argue with myself, and I realize I'm the one who's coming up with excuses and reasons, and oh, we could do it tomorrow. We'll work out more. Or, we'll just take a break today. We need a break. And it's like the negotiation begins. So when you're attempting to get something done, it can fall under the guise of self-manipulation, right? Because this Scorpio energy is going to show you where you don't feel empowered and where you don't feel like you're enough. And I'll pull another card. How is everyone feeling? If you're feeling in any way, shape, or form disempowered, then I want you to find a moment in time in your memory when you felt so free, so completely you. It's the magic deck. So completely you. And I want you to think about that moment. And I want you to expand on that moment through breath. Stay on that moment, expand it, and then become this nebula. Okay? Thanks to NASA. Stay on this nebula in that moment, and you can expand it. And what is it that you're really fighting? Scorpio is a very tenacious energy. It's all about death and rebirth. And what is it that you're fighting? The end of something? The end of an unhealthy pattern, perhaps? We all resist it. Okay. All right. This keeps coming up, right? How many times this week? 3 times. Vision. What's your vision, people? What's your vision? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to take it? Who are you really? Who are you really working with and for? Sometimes the vision is, I want this, but it's never happening. I want this, but it doesn't seem to happen. Okay, well, we could spend years working on ourselves. It's like, oh my gosh, is it ever over? Help me, please. I'm begging you. Help me. So every once in a while with the Scorpio energy, it is about look at what you've already transformed. Remind yourselves of what you've already transformed and how powerful you can be in the moments that you are trusting, that your attention is on your intention to be compassionate, whole, not the HOLE you think you are, but the WHOLE that you are. And then comes the abundance with the vision. The vision. Now look at this. I applied this a few shows ago to the fixed signs, and now we're back. You can look at it sideways. If I turn it sideways, it's not exactly X marks the spot, but you see it's like you're drawn into the top and the bottom before you go left and right. So your north, south, east, and west of energy is all about your ability to bring it down, download it from above, ground it from below. Look to the right, look to the left. What's around you? What's surrounding you? What have you communed with? Well, yeah. What have you created through your communion? Because if you don't trust what's actually happening, then you're just going to go through the motions and create more of the same. Does that make sense? Christine says, thank you for the cards. They really speak directly to me big time. I'm so happy. This is my job. Michelle, overwhelmed and very emotional. Okay. Inhale, exhale, everybody. We're going to inhale that nebula because that's inside of you. It's already in you. Inhale. Exhale. Become as present as possible. And every time you're doing something, oh my gosh, okay, this is, whoa, two more cards flipping out. Flipping out here, emotion. Okay, are we very emotional? The Scorpio energy can be very intense in that it wants something so bad. It wants to trust so much, but it can't until, it believes that you, self, thing is authentic. Authenticity. So let's cover this again. And thank you, universe. And I'll pull a rune as well. So what is your attention on? How miserable you feel, how much they hurt you, how you can't seem to finish something, how you are not enough, how it is not enough. We're going to switch our attention. As soon as you switch your attention repeatedly throughout the day, bring it back. And I showed you how several times, many times, okay? The proven neuro technique. Clap your hands 5 times. Jump up and down 5 times. Burst into song for 5 seconds. Okay, combine the 3. Or you can do absolutely nothing for 20 seconds and watch that feeling dissipate. Your brain and your body cannot hold that charge unless you give it permission. So doesn't it feel good to hate something so bad that you just want to, like, where's the rage? Okay, so that could be a hormonal imbalance, right? A chemical imbalance. If you have way too much estrogen or not enough estrogen, or way too much testosterone or not enough testosterone, you could just get triggered so easily, especially during this retrograde. But now you know that. Now you're going to use your willpower, your vision. Wait, let me go in order here. The idea of what abundance is, you could be in one of those, I'm a victim moment, or I'm in a revenge moment. How dare they? I made that cake for the bake sale and they let their kids eat it before we could sell it. Who the hell, right? Whatever. But when you start to remind yourself that you have power, but you don't have to be forceful with it, that you don't have to manipulate, that you don't have to create revenge, when you come out of that lower vibe energy, that mundane energy of I'm not enough, or it's not enough, or it'll never be enough, enough is enough, right? Then you have to fall back on your vision. What's your vision? I choose to be, fill in the blank. I choose to be as healthy as possible in this moment, on this day. I choose to be as productive as possible. This is stating your intention and putting your attention on it, right? Attention with your intention to create abundance, focused on your vision. Your vision. What's your vision? Just pick one thing. It doesn't have to be, well, I want to win a Pulitzer and I'm going to write a song with Sting and Watch those emotions, people. Energy and motion. That's what emotions are, energy and motion. So they come, they go, like a dolphin swimming through the universe. You know, that was Flipper. Because you want to be really authentic. You want to say to yourself, I am resisting right now cleaning my house. I'm resisting. I have company coming. I'm probably going to wait till the last minute. And then I'm going to be so tired. And then I'm going to be really pissed off. Like you're projecting your entire world. So we're just going to sit back and we're just going to eat some popcorn and watch the show. But what you can do is bring it up. Bring up that feeling in the retrograde, because your feelings, and you're being authentic. This is being authentic, not like, yes, everything is wonderful. I believe in the spirits and astrology and my right to be divine. Yes, but if you're struggling financially, if you feel cheated in relationships, if you feel, like Leah says, inadequate, then let's be authentic and say aloud, right now I feel really inadequate. Damn, it was going so well for 3 days. It was going so well. What happened? That's where we want to go when we are authentic. Okay. Am I screaming? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be screaming. I'm just getting eccentric. Eccentric? I mean, excited. That was a slip. Am I eccentric? I don't know. And once you have that feeling, I'm going to pull a rune now because I'm getting back into my runes. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm also historical fiction fantasy author. And my third book, I'm going to publish 3 at the same time. Aries Fire. They're dedicated to each of the astrological signs, but basically it is one soul's epic journey through 12 lifetimes. Yeah. And Aries Fire, 10 Steps of the Bull, and then the Viking Queen for Gemini. So we've got Aries, Taurus, and Gemini coming up. But I'm going to get back into writing. That's my desire. That's my desire. So as I write get back into the Viking Queen, I am also reintroduced to the runes. And these runes are, oh gosh, I don't even know, 30 years old. Look at the bag, so old. So I'm re-familiarizing myself with the runes. And let's pull a rune today from the rest of the magical spirits in this universe to help us get really clear on utilizing this particular Mercury in retrograde energy. I'm going to talk more about it on Thursday, but we're going to close up now on this. Okay, and we have, Othala. This is what the whole story is that I'm writing about, is based on your inheritance, but it's reversed Othala. Okay. Was that a message for me in my book? Because this is a symbol that comes up in all my books. This is going to be the anchor symbol to all my books. And separation. Well, I'm going to refer to some of the notes here. Othala, retreat and inheritance. So you want to look at, what this rune is right side up. Looks like this, okay? Like a triangle on a stand, okay? But as it is reversed, that's not very clear. Can you see that? Okay. So the Othala, separation reversed, is being really adaptable and skillful in going back in time. How perfect for a retrograde, right? And it is about being really honest. What did I pull? Authenticity. It's about being really honest about who you are, where you are in the moment, and before you can actually change it. And not to be bound by old conditioning or old authority, and that can be a pattern. It doesn't have to be a person. And what you were taught in your early years regarding trust and relationships, and how you, sometimes if you're drinking a pot of coffee, let's just say you drink a pot of coffee every day for 5 years. And then one day you just stop. You go cold turkey and you stop. You go through a little bit of withdrawal. You get kind of cranky. You get angry. You get annoyed. You don't understand why your skin is itching. You know, you're constipated or the opposite. You have the runs. And so when you end a pattern, it's uncomfortable. We resist it. Then we're drawn back to the old way because it's familiar. So it also advises now not to consider not only what will benefit you, but also others. And total honesty is required. And to wait for the universe to act. And to remember, we do without doing and everything gets done. But we must focus on who we are in this moment. We must focus on what we're feeling and where the inadequacies are, because they're not coming to you from the outside world. You might say, well, they fired me, or they overlooked me, or for the promotion, or they did this to me. You're not a victim. And so we have to go in and find out, where did we stop trusting that we would get our needs met? We're going to end on that note right now. And I'll be back on Thursday, 10 o'clock Pacific and Arizona time, and then starting next Monday, I'll be back at a different time, which I will post here in Facebook and on my in my newsletter. So if you're on my mailing list, you'll get that. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being. I want you to be present as possible and see what comes up regarding your trust and mistrust, so that you can start to empower yourself and turn it around. Consider letting go of those old ties. All right, we'll be back. Take it easy, my friends. Or, yeah, we're going to end on that. Be well. Thank you.